Hello and welcome to Fondant Sculpting at the Davenport Public Library. The first thing I want to do is show you my bunny from last time. I think it's kind of a flop. His ears completely fell down. He's kind of cute, but he does not look like the bunny I made last week. So you'll have that. So I'm gonna put this guy over here and just look at him for a while. So today we are going to work with food coloring. I had turned this one blue a while ago, and I left this out overnight so you can see it got kind of crackly, and that's what I mean by it dries out. Now I can probably play with this for a while, and it might take the moisture from my hands and make it okay again, or I could use some vegetable shortening and it might come back. But you do want to keep your fondant covered and in an airtight container whenever possible. So that said, we can get out our fondant and we are going to take our second block. I think after we color, we are going to make a pig. We're going to make this guy. Or we're going to make something like this guy. So we'll take our fondant, and remember how we have it scored? Or if you have it wrapped it separate, that's fine too. You can just pull out the chunk for this week. And then if you have one big chunk, be sure and wrap it back up and put it away right away before you start working. And that gets it out of the way too, so that your workspace is somewhat clear. Okay. So today we are going to work with colors. First, let's take our block and kind of cut it in half. Well, we'll leave it whole, because if you want to, what we're going to do with the pig, we have separate parts that we're going to attach. So we might as well color it first and then attach them. So fondant is really soaks up the color, so we want to be careful not to use too much. And I would highly recommend wearing gloves. Otherwise, your hands you could dye your hands and you could end up having blue hands all day. And who wants that? Look like a scary monster or something. Okay, because it is so, because it soaks up your color so much, we're not going to use very much. And I am just going to put a drop in this little cup. So I'm just going to put a drop in there. Can you see that there's just a little tiny bit in there? And I'm going to take my toothpick and get my toothpick colored, and I'm just going to put some dots into my fondant of the color. There, see how I just put some dots in there? And then I can fold it around and we'll see. We'll see how that does. So start out small and then add more as you go. There. See, I'm starting to get a little bit of pink in there. And because I'm going to make a pig, I want it to be pink and not red. Although a red pig would be okay. Okay, I'm not getting a lot of color, so I'm going to add some more dots. I added a whole bunch of dots. Okay, and again, I'm going to fold it inside so that maybe It will save my hands, or in this case, save my gloves. Okay, now it's starting to turn pink. There. See how it's starting to turn pink? Okay, so you can play with yours and make it whatever color that you want. And we're not gonna talk about color again. So for our next projects, if you want to have colored fondant for any of our projects, then go ahead and color your fondant before we get started. And I can show you the projects that we're going to be doing so that you have an idea of what color you want if you want color. This is really not turning pink very fast. So I'm going to add a little bit more, and then I'm just going to let it be what it is. Okay, for this, I added 1 drop into the dough, and I thought that was too much. It was more blue than what I wanted, and that's why I went with the dotting. Okay, and it does take a while. See how it's still kind of swirly. I have swirly pink in my fondant. Okay, now we're starting to get somewhere. Okay, so should we start working on the pig? Okay, so for the body, we need 1 piece for the body, and then we have 4 feet, we have 2 ears, we have a tail, and then we have some little dots that we're going to use for the eyes and for the snout. So we're going to cut our fondant in about half. So you can take about half of your fondant, and the easiest way to do that might be to make it into a little block. See, I have mine in a little rectangular block, and then I'm just going to cut it with a knife. Okay, so now I have a half of a block, and I'm just going to make it into a ball, and that's going to be my pig's body. I kind of like this tie-dye effect on my pig. And if you're still working on coloring, that's fine. You can go ahead and pause the video, and you can pick it up when you're ready. Okay. I've got a little bit bigger pig than I had before. So here's my pig body. See how it's just a round ball? And now I am going to I'm going to separate out some feet. Okay, I have four pieces for feet. I'm just going to make them into littler balls. You can just kind of roll them like you would Play-Doh. And they should be about the same size. They don't have to be exactly the same size, but they should be about the same size. I have 2 that are a little bit bigger than the other 2, so I will have the biggest ones as the back feet and the smallest ones as the front feet. Okay, and then you want to pull off a little bit for the ears. And I'm going to take about this much for 2 ears. So I'll take that much, and then I'm going to cut it in half. And I'll just kind of break it apart. My daughter saw this pig, and she said it was a dragon pig because I made its ears so big. Okay, and then you're going to need a little piece for the snout. So I'll just make another ball. And then 2 pieces for behind the eyes. And those are just tiny. So about that size. So little tiny. Okay, so now what I have a pig body, so that's a big circle. I have 4 feet, so those are 4 medium sized. And I have 2 eyes, which are little tiny balls. And then I have the snout, which is kind of medium size. It's about the size of the feet, maybe. Okay, and then I have the 2 pieces for the ears. I'm gonna shape the ears right now. And then we still need a tail. Okay, the ears, I'm going to make kind of like a triangle. Or maybe a tooth. They kind of look like teeth. Okay, what should we put on first? Should we put on the feet? Okay, let's line up our feet. And after I sat my pig down, do you see what happened to the bottom? The bottom got it got flat on this side. I'm gonna put that flat part right on my pig's feet. So that's what that looks like. And if for some reason it isn't sticking, you can get some water and you can put water on your fondant, and that will help with the stickiness. Okay, so there's my feet, and I'm going to put my, I think I'm going to put my snout on next. So you take the your other ball that's about the same size as your feet, and we're going to put that on the front of the pig's face. Mine seems a little bit big. I think I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Is it fun? Is it fun just playing with stuff? Ah! Oh no, my snout got away. Since I have extra fondant, I am going to leave my snout on the floor and pick it up later and throw it away. Remember how I said it picks up lint and all sorts of dirt? So when I pick it up, it's gonna be dirty. Okay, so there's my snout. I'm just going to stick it on there. And now I'm going to take my 2 eyes and put on there. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. It looks kind of silly, and that's okay because it's not going to stay that way. Okay, now do you have your ears? Are you ready to put your ears on? The ears are a little bit tricky because you need to flatten it. We're going to flatten it against this the pig's body and kind of pinch it down right behind the eyes. So see where that is. And then you can shape them the way that you want them. And you can use your knife if you want to and put a little dent in the inside so that it's more ear-like. And you can also use your knife to kind of smooth out the part that's connected to the pig's body. Fondant is very forgiving. Ah, look, I smashed the side of my pig. Good thing it's so forgiving. So now I'm going to very gently rub the side of my pig out. Oh my gosh, he has some really big ears. This is the biggest eared pig ever. He looks like he's the Dumbo of pigs. I bet he could fly if he wanted. I should put a trunk on him and change him into a pink elephant. Okay. You know, maybe I'll do that when I'm done here. I'll finish showing you how to make a pig and then I'll turn him into an elephant. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of still push this ear into the fondant. and smooth it out a little bit with my fingers. Okay, so now this is what I have. He looks kind of silly, and that's okay. Okay, now for the pig's tail, you want to take a piece and we're going to make it really, really, really thin. So the thinnest worm that you could imagine for that pig's tail. Because we're going to curl it up. And see how I'm just using my finger and I'm kind of rolling it on the top. Just kind of roll it. And you don't want to push too hard. You just want to push just hard enough to make it a little bit smaller. Okay. There, that is going to be my tail. So once you have it rolled out, you can just start twisting it. I don't know how to do this so I can show you. But when you twist it up a little bit. So that when you're done, it looks like a coil. And we're going to put that right on his back. This will work out well with an elephant too. Well, I guess elephants don't have curly tails. Elephants have long tails, or well, they have tails that stick out. Okay, now here is the beginning of my pig. See how he has a really long tail. And his ears are sticking out a lot, and so you can make your ears a lot smaller if you want to. You can pinch them down. Okay, now the next thing is to do the eyes. So for the eyes, you just want to smash these. Just smash them so that they're flat. And then we're going to take a couple of the chocolate chips for the eyes again. They make fantastic eyes. And of course, if you want to use something else for the eyes, that's fine. Sprinkles, maybe you have some cool looking sprinkles or little tiny candies. Whatever you want to put in there for eyes is fine. I just happen to have a lot of these mini chocolate chips. Okay, so there's his eyes. And now for his snout, you can take your toothpick, or if you have wooden skewers would work really well for this. And we're just going to put, see how there's two nostrils in this guy? We're just going to put nostrils. For some reason, his face looks like a cow's face to me today. I've got my animals all messed up. I have elephant ears and a cow snout and a pig tail. He's an all mixed up animal. So there is my pig. Except I don't. Do you think that it would look better if the ears were up on top? Because we could move them. We could take him off and move him. But since I am changing him into an elephant, I'm going to pull his snout out. Oh my gosh, I love this guy. I'm going to pull his snout out, and I'm just going to kind of pinch it till it's smooth. There, see how he has a nice smooth trunk? And now I am going to take my knife again, and I'm just going to carve little teeny lines on the snout, on the trunk. And maybe I will take my toothpick and put an opening at the very end. Although now he kind of looks like an anteater. Ta-da! So there's my elephant pig. Okay, let's take this curly tail. There, I took the curly tail and made it into an elephant tail. Okay. So there's my elephant. There's my pig. Pretty much the same kind of deal. Go ahead and show me your creations. I can't wait to see if you made an elephant or a pig or something completely different, and pop it into the comments section. If you have any questions about anything, you can send an email to the library, or you can just post it in the comments. I will watch them, and I will try to answer them in the next comments. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you the other projects that we're going to be doing. We are making this octopus. So if you decide you want him a different color, you can certainly do that. We are going to be making this fish. And another elephant. We're going to be making this elephant. So those are our projects coming up. Here's something else I made that was kind of fun. This is just a little snail. And I can show you how to do that real quick with this leftover pig, the leftover pig clay or fondant. For the snail, you just roll it out like you did the pigtail, only we're going to leave it fatter. So 3 animals today. Well, I don't know. The snail, I guess, is not an animal, but. Okay, once you have a long worm-like thing, we can roll it up. And kind of flatten the bottom so that it will stay up. Leave the head up like that, and you can use your fingers and pinch it, or take a knife and put a little V in the top so that you can make his little tentacles, antlers, whatever they're called. And you know what? I have a little bit of red still on my toothpick. I'm going to use that. Oh. To give him some red eyes. So that one was pretty simple. Okay, so you can use these if you want to. You can use the fondant and roll it really thin and lay it on the top of a cake and put in any of these creations on top and make a scene. Or you can have cupcakes. But if you're going to use fondant and make some sort of a shape and put it on top of your cake, be sure that you frost the cake first so that it has a nice smooth base to work with, and then you can put these on there. And if you put them on there when they're still pliable, you know, before they get all dried out, it should stick to the frosting. Okay, it was so fun making pig, elephant, snails today, and I will see you next week.